chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. I trust that you've had a marvelous day. This is your show host, Maxine Phillips, coming live to you and talking about life strategies. So you're at the Maxine Phillips' show, Life Strategies. Today, I have an awesome conversation to talk about. But before we get to that, I always want to remind the audience that Leveless is about success without levels. And who do we service? We serve students in high school, those who are in early college, those who are going through college, and those who's coming out of college. And we're also talking about adults in transition. So you could be unemployed, underemployed, or you could be even facing a layoff or been laid off, or you might just want to make a transition in your career life. So that's what we do here at Leveless. And one of the things that we help you with is to discover not only who you are, but what are your God given abilities and strengths that you were born with, and then help you to align those with the career or the career path that's closely matched to what you have a love for doing. And if you're unsure, that's even better because we help you to identify it or even confirm what is that career path you should be going down. The whole objective is for you to put a strategy in place and for you to define what success looks like for you, because your definition of success is totally different than someone else's. And so we want to make sure that you understand and you have a roadmap on what success looks like, so that when you're traveling that roadmap, you're hitting those milestones, you're accomplishing those goals, and you're doing exactly what you said you would do. So therefore, you are continuously being successful. And then it's always about delivery. Deliver and execute with excellence. And no matter what you do, no matter who you're doing it for. And then, hey, let's say develop. Develop yourself along the way. That's where, if it requires additional education, if it requires additional certifications, or even if it requires you to have a mentor, we must continue to be in a learning mode. Always be a lifelong learner. So here at the Leveless Show, what would the Leveless life strategies? What we do is we bring on guests to talk about what they have put in place in order for them to get to where they are today. Well, we're not going to have a guest. I am going to be the facilitator and the guest, the show host, all in one today, because it is International Women's Month. And so I want to talk to you about a few issues when it comes to women and how it's being affected in the workplace, in their balanced work life. And then one of the things that I'm pushing right now is, because of the layoff situation, is to have that resume ready. And women, let's talk about that. When you get that resume ready, and always keep it ready, when that opportunity presents itself, whether you're unemployed, you can submit the resume, or if you are already employed but you're not happy with what you're doing or fulfilled at what you're doing, and you see there's some internal opportunities, then it's still nice to have a resume ready so that you can capitalize on those opportunities. And what about as an entrepreneur? Let's not forget that. We still need a resume in place, because depending on what contract we're going for, what proposal we're going for, what project we're going for, what grant we're going for, you must have a resume ready for that, to accommodate all the things that you're going to be submitting. So, yes, it is a little serious, heavy, but at the same token, life can be serious. But if we stay in front of it and we stay in control of it, then we can guide it how we need to guide it. And we can put a blueprint in place that will help us to manage our time and to manage our organizational skills, as well as manage when we see job openings. As I just indicated, this layoff situation is serious. It's not going anywhere. So let's face it, we have to be in control of our own destiny and our own journey. And in doing so, again, I'm going to emphasize the importance of you keeping a record of your accomplishments so that they can go on the resume and they can help you to stand out. We will be offering emergency resume workshop coming on March the 12th, this coming March the 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. We're going to be talking about 20 do's and don'ts that you can quickly update your resume with that will make a big difference. And it will just, I mean, the hiring manager, when they look at it, I mean, it would be a clean, crisp. When we get through talking about those tips and techniques for you and the thing, and listen, I want you to bring that resume with you because this is an interactive workshop. And I want you to make changes right then and there. It is by Zoom. So it's in the comforts of your home or wherever you're going to be. You don't have to leave it, but have the resume available. So as we're going through and talking about the different do's and don'ts, you can make the necessary changes. My whole objective is about transformational. It's about you transforming that resume into that magnet, that powerful, that the hiring managers and HR, when they look at it, they want to say, I want to interview that person. So let's get you started. That's the first thing. Now, as we start talking about March, International Women's Month, there's so many things that's going on with women, and we already know that women can be at a disproportionate disadvantage when it comes to pay, when it comes to advancements, when it comes to executive positions, and so there's many things that women are confronted with that a resume will help you as well. Because just let's face it, when we're in networking and we're out there at different events, and you telling individuals about what you do and how you do it and who you are and what the value that you're adding, in their mind, they could be thinking, wow, I need a resume or I need their resume. And if they were to ask you for the resume, do you have it ready? Can you send it to them immediately? Do you have it at hand where you have access to it on your telephone or your we call it the smartphone, right? Or can you send it to them immediately once you return home and they'll have it in their inbox the next day? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about stay ready rather than having to get ready. So I'm going to bring up just a quick list that I wanted to talk from tonight. And the list is going to be concerning, let me get to it. And we're going to be talking about, as I indicated, women and what's going on in the facts and figures about what's going on with women. And we're going to first start talking about the benefits of women's economic empowerment. And I know this is something that you've already heard. You've read it, I'm reading it, and we all are interpreting it, and we all are talking about it among ourselves, and we're talking about it in different meetings, different forums, and on different panels. And one of the things is women economic empowerment. And how essential is it in achieving the women's right and gender equality? We already know that there's, as I said, is disproportionate. And with that, and we have a disadvantage already. I never will forget when I was doing some research on how much does a woman make in comparison to a man when it comes to dollar for dollar. And in my research, I found out that the woman only makes 81 cents to that of a man making $1. And it's even less when it comes to women of color. Now, that was a Caucasian woman that I spoke of right then with the 81%. And women of color, when I did the research, it was like 63 cents to that of a dollar. So we want to make sure that this change. And how do we make it? We can't make it change, but what we can do is position ourselves and to show the value that we're bringing. And we know our worth, first of all. It's always critical that you know your worth. And so even if you have to take an assessment to know things about yourself, who you are from your core, then go on and do that. Invest in yourself. I know I was just talking earlier to a person and I said to them, yes, I have dollars set aside that I'm investing in myself for 2024. I do that each year. I know how much I can invest in myself, and then I have to decide how am I going to invest it. So that's a platinum nugget that you can take away and use for yourself. But when it comes to we talking about women of economic empowerment, it's important that women economic empowerment means to and it just means that ensuring women can equally participate when it comes to the benefits from the work, the social protection, access to market, and having control over resources. It's not always easy, and that's why you have a lot of these women groups who are supporting women, and then you have the minority groups who are supporting the minority women. Because let's face it, a woman is considered a minority to begin with when you're talking about hub, right? Historically underutilized business, and when especially if they're in business. But when we stick together, we know we can be powerful. When we stick together and collaborate and partner, we know we can not only get things done, but we also are bringing other women along with us. So, this March being International Women's Month, it should always be International Women's Month, just like it should always be Black History. It should always be, whatever it is, it should be something that we're continuously doing every day and not just do it because society tells us this is the month that we should be doing it. No, we should take it into account and make it a part of our everyday responsibility. That's how we're going to transform generations as well. The other thing that it talked about when it comes to benefits of women social economic empowerment, it talks about promoting women economic justice and rights in the economy and closing the gender gap. That's what we talk about. Many times you talk about the glass ceiling. When it comes to levelers, we always talk about there is no glass ceiling because levelers means success without levels. The sky is not the limit. I know we hear all the time the cliche that the sky is the limit, but that's what they want us to believe. I want to challenge you this evening and for you to say to yourself, the sky is not the limit. So I do not have to limit myself to where I want to go, who I want to become, what status do I want to reach. You are in control of that. And so, therefore, when it comes to closing that gender gap, we know we have a long ways to go. It is happening to some degree, but we're always trying to think of what law can we put in place in order to make it happen. We do know that they removed certain laws. We used to have, the EEO as a part of it. So the most important thing now, ladies, is that we do stick together and we do promote each other and we do look at who can we bring along the way. I know I will be with my levelist. I'm introducing the levelist living. And levelist living is the woman who's living their life daily. They're living their legacy daily. They're helping other women. They're helping people in their community. They're making an impact in the world. So you're going to see some of these women revealed each day on my social media platform. Get to know them and just reach out to them, because how are we going to help each other if we don't get to know one another? And here at Pod TV, I mean, it airs to over 200 countries. So there's no reason why we cannot be able to help one another. And it's on Roku. You talk about Amazon Live. So there's so many different platforms that we can use. And ladies, let's face it, many of us have podcasts. So let's invite each other to be a part of the podcast so our message can get out, our vision can get out. So let's see. I have someone putting let's see. I think I have a question that's coming in. So let me take a look at that question.
Nope, it looks like she disappeared, so hopefully she's going to come back on. And all along those lines, but that was a very powerful conversation that Maxine was having. Definitely got to get more people involved and all along those lines. So hopefully Maxine's back in and will come back into the room and we will continue the discussion around resumes and a number of other things going on in that way. So as I was telling her, and that might have been what she was looking at, I know that it was discussed in our previous show, the pay gap that exists. So the pay gap is very real, and it's something that a lot of people are paying attention to and are definitely concerned about as well. So definitely that pay gap is something that folks need to pay attention to and are constantly looking at on a regular basis and all in that way. So we're going to actually check out one of the other things that Maxine does on a regular basis, and that is definitely her level of students succeeding. So we'll bring that up, and we might have one or two other things, and then I might come back and also see what's going on in that regards. But let's check out this announcement about life strategies. I'm not the strategies. Oh, Maxine is back. But right now we're going to play this quick spot about the students and all along those lines. And I may just do that really quickly. But everything I know you got that students succeeding. So I was going to play that really quickly. And then I had a quick question for you as well. So let's play this really quickly. And then I got my quick question.
Okay. I am Maxine Phillips, Chief Learning Officer of Level Less, a learning-based coaching company that partners with parents to empower teens to create a strategy for succeeding in life. Are you overwhelmed or feel stuck when your teen is undecided about selecting a career path? Our college and career program provides assessments, individualized coaching, and workshops to help teens identify their unique purpose and select a profession that complements their strengths. Call us. All right.
Yeah, just really quickly before I get off and let you continue with the show, will we ever get past this pay gap? Because as I was saying, the show before you is the all-around show. So we were talking about a number of things, including politics with Trump and his sneakers. But definitely toward the end of the show, we were talking about the pay gap. And apparently there is a young lady that was actually running an organization that was a leader, speaking of social media and Instagram. So she has put together a organization to help women and particularly minority women have a voice together and all along those lines. So I'd actually shared that with Dr. Anthony, and now I'm sharing it with your audience as well. But yeah, there was a young lady that was finding this, and she was definitely bringing up this notion of this pay gap and this kind of existence that has been there for a while. But I was just wondering your take on it and everything. But just to let your audience know, the young lady's name that was with Instagram and everything was a young lady by the name of Regina Lawless, I believe was her name. But yeah, she was a professional at 40, hit a professional high at 40, becoming the first director of diversity and inclusion for Instagram. But unfortunately, and we know this can happen, it's happened, I think, in your life. It definitely happened in Kim Calhoun's life, one of our presidents and everything. But her husband died, and then she had to like ponder what she was going to do with her personal life and what it means for a Black woman to succeed in the corporate world. So that's when she founded this particular organization that she put together and all along those lines. And the organization apparently is called, and I'll tell you the name, Bossy and Blissful. That is the name of her organization, which is a collective for Black female executives to commemorate and coach each other on how to deal with misogyny. So, hey, sounds like an organization you need to be part of. So, you got to get Maxine into that organization and all along those lines. But apparently, this is something she put together recently. But I just wanted your take on what we can do, because it's been an issue, seems like forever, at least all in my lifetime.
Yes. It just didn't start, Mark. It's been an issue forever, and it's still an issue. You know, you talk about will it ever end? Probably not. But the whole thing of it is like what the person that you're talking about and what I help individuals to understand is that keep your achievements. Keep a good, great documentation of your achievements and what they did, what the results were, how you improved, how you created, how you put a process in place. I always call it, when you do that, when an opportunity presents itself, you have the necessary achievements to prove that you are capable of doing or taking on that role. Now, whether or not they make the decision to allow you to become that person in that position is a different story. You know, they can come up with all kind of excuses or all kind of reasons as to not to put you in that role. And it happens to women very often. And it also happens, of course, to our minority individuals as well.
Yep,
I
no
just
doubt about that and everything. Yeah, that's one of what we were talking about. But I'm gonna let you get back to talking about the resume workshop and all this great things you got going. As you can tell, I've got the Bitly going across as well as the time, because that's just around the corner. That's a
That's
week from
right around
tomorrow.
the corner, ladies and gentlemen. I want you all to take a moment and get that link and register for it. We're talking about March the 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. The whole objective of doing it in the evening time is to help give you an opportunity to get home, to relax, get those kids in place, get yourself relaxed. And then let's talk about those 20 do's and don'ts that's going to make a difference to help your resume stand out so that the hiring manager or HR will look at it and say, hey, we need to interview that person. Because the whole objective is for you to get hired if you're unemployed, or if you're making a transition and you're looking at a promotion or you're looking at moving forward, then you want them to look at you as a candidate for that role and those responsibilities. And the only way to do it is to keep that resume up to date. I cannot stress that enough. I tell you, that's been a lifesaver, not only for me, but I never will forget when I was doing careers, I would call it career coaching and career workshops for the North Carolina Project Management here in RTP, Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. I had 18 individuals in that class.
Looks like Maxine has frozen, so we're going to see if we can see about that and everything, because it looks like she froze there for a minute. So hopefully she'll adjust her computer and see what's going on in that space. Ah, she's back. So
I
I see her
can't, you
moving.
know what? You cannot control the internet. When it wants to do what it wants to do, it's going to do it.
Now it's going to do what it wants to do. The internet has got a mind of its own and everything.
Oh,
But you talking about that 18 that you had in the class and the nature of the
yes.
class.
I was so elated because 18 that were in this workshop, a 3-week workshop, but it was like once a week, but then for an hour and a half. Of those 18, 16 of those individuals actually were hired. They got jobs.
Oh, wow.
They actually got jobs. And so I tell them all the time, I was telling them from the beginning, keep your resume up to date. And as we were going through the workshop and they were updating their resume, when they finished the workshop, they had a resume that was ready to be pushed forward. And when they pushed that resume forward, they were, hey, required, they made a company made a request in order to interview them. Now, the kicker is a part of that 3-week session, I did interviewing as well with them. So they were ready to be interviewed the minute they pushed that resume out. So they
Oh,
didn't have to wait or delay to say, hey, now I got to go in for training for interviewing. No, we did it all in that one swoop so they would be ready. That's the whole objective of what Levelist does when we're talking about being ready. James Brown said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
that's right.
So
That's
we
what
help them
James
to
Brown said.
stay. Yeah. But thank you, Mark, for that. But I tell you what, the internet, ladies and gentlemen, it still very well could go down again. So you all just bear with me as I make it through this hour.
No problem. We'll let you go on, and hopefully, I'll be keeping an eye. If I have to jump back in, I will. But I know you got things under control. But I'm also maintaining and monitoring, so I'll be in the background in case I have to come up there and wing it again. But right
I
now, I'll
hear
let you
you.
turn it back.
All right. As you see, as you heard, Mark got my back. That's what it is. We talk about collaboration. We're talking about partnering. We're talking about helping each other move forward. That's what it's all about. When you see that something this is out of my control when it comes to the internet, but Mark has the ability to pop in and then help carry it forward. So that's good to know. But as we started talking about the Women's International Month, and we were talking about pay gap, and we were talking about, I was talking about the glass ceiling. There is no glass ceiling, so don't let people tell you there is a glass ceiling. Do not put yourself in that situation. If anything, have the levelist mindset that success without levels is the way it is. It's the way you should go. As long as you define what success looks like for you and you're accomplishing those milestones and you're achieving them, you know your worth and you're showing your value, you are successful. So that's important, ladies, for you to understand that. That's a confidence builder right there. I know I had to make sure that I had that confidence even as a young girl in a rural, community, poverty stricken community. I had to have the confidence in order to move forward and to overcome a lot of adversity. And ladies, it hasn't stopped. We still have to overcome adversity. The other thing is we have to find some balance. Well, what is balance? When they talk about have a balanced work life. Well, with so many times we're a mother, we're a full-time career woman. We are a community activist. We're out there advocating for the students. So we might be doing some kind of political things that we're helping move laws forward. So there's so many things that we play a role in. So yes, but the most important thing is that you have to understand to have some downtime for yourself. Understand what you require. Are you an introvert, but you're working in an extrovert world? And if that be the case, then take those 15 or 20 minutes during lunchtime and just get by yourself and have some quiet time. If it's nothing but reading a book, have some quiet time. If it's nothing but going in a conference room and just turning the lights off and just relaxing and meditating, that's quiet time. And if you're an extrovert and you find yourself in an introvert world and you're doing a lot of research behind the scene and you're not interacting with people, well, you're going to go bonkers in a sense. So rather than have that to happen to you, then what you want to do is take breaks. You want to take a break, and then you want to engage in a conversation, or you might want to make a telephone call, or you might want to do some not only research by yourself, but research with other people. You might want to do a lunch and learn where you're networking and you're connecting. So there's ways in order for you to break that monotony and also to strengthen your mind, to strengthen your mental capacity, because it day to day it can get a little bit monotonous, so you don't want that to happen to you. So that's that side of finding a work life balance. And of course, it always about health, and health is eating, is exercising, and is walking. So you have all of that to go together. And we'll talk about that at another time, but not tonight. Not tonight. So as I get back to us talking about, let's talk about increasing women and girls' educational attainment and contribute to the women's economic empowerment. Now, how does that play out? Well, we know education and upskilling yourself. We know you can reskill yourself. You can repurpose the skills that you have. How do you do that? Many times we don't know how to do it, but you have a career coach such as myself who can help you repurpose those skills that you have. And one of the things that we do here at Levelers is not only do we help you to repurpose, but we help you to identify what are your abilities and strengths that you were born with. And then how do you align them to the profession that you've chosen to go into? How do you align that with the profession that you have chosen to go into so that you can have that fulfillment, that you're going to feel good about what it is that you do, that you're offering to the world and you're impacting the generations? You have control over that. And so, as we talk about attaining education, you have to decide what type of education is needed for the profession that you're in. And the way that you obtain that is many times is through some time an ability assessment. And then there's sometimes it's through a personality assessment. And I'm certified in both of those. But the whole thing of it is that what I found in either one of those, there are some blind spots that we have that we're not even aware of. And those blind spots could very well be the things that's keeping us back when it comes to, we talk about pay gender, we talk about not being able to be promoted. So, and then sometimes it's just a perception. Let's face it. It is just a perception that another person has of you. And that perception could be totally wrong because that's their opinion. Because when you ask for facts, they can't give you any facts. So what you want to do is, I know there's a question that I ask my clients: how do people view you when they first meet you? And you have to be true with that, with the answers to that question. You have to be true, be truthful. And then the next part of it is, how do you want them to view you when they first meet you? Ah, totally different, right? It's a different way that you answer. But you must take all of that into consideration when you talk about inequality. We don't want to give them any reason. And then many times, remember, you don't even have to give them a reason because they have a perception and it could be a misperception. As they say, don't judge the book by its cover. And that is so true. And then we're going to talk about current status of women. Did you know that 1 out of every 10 women are living in extreme poverty? That's 10.5%. Now, if this continues, as a report that I read, by 2030, there would be over 8% of the world's female population. We're talking about millions, at least 342 million women and girls will be living in these conditions. We can't have that to happen. And the way we can prevent it is those who are in a position to mentor, to bring others along, to share our knowledge, our skills, and our abilities. I know that's what I do on Monday nights. And that's the reason why I'm so thankful that I've been able to give the privilege of having the Maxine Pearl Phillips Life Strategies Show. And then bringing individuals on who can share with you, not only me sharing with you, but they can share with you the things that they have put in place that has helped them to become successful, that has helped them to become unstuck, that has helped them to build their confidence, and that has helped them to also help other women and other girls or other people in the world. And then another current status of women is that women are less likely to have access to social protection. And that's essential. I know I was looking at Facebook the other day, and I remember this one guy just giving women advice, and this is just as common sense advice. Don't go out alone by yourself. Go out with another woman. If you're going to go walking, if you're going to go jogging. I mean, he gave an astounding number of how many women had just been abducted, and it's like, oh my gracious, I didn't even realize that myself. And so let's not put ourselves in an unsafe situation. Let's always say safety first. So it's so critical. And with our young ladies, we still have to be very mindful and careful with them on where they're going, who they're going with, and what kind of activities are going to be taking place where they are at. So, and globally, it's estimated that 73.5% of women in wage employment do not have access to social protection. And that can come from, like, even if you're working late at night and you have to walk to your car. If they have a guard, ask the guard to walk you to your car, or walk together. If you park close to one another, walk together so that you have someone looking out for you and you looking out for them. Remember, safety first. Another status of women, it talks about more food insecure. Women are more food insecure than men. So the gender gap in food insecurity have grown from 1.7% in 2019 to more than 4% by the year of 2021, which is 31.9% for women. I mean, sometimes, we're saying 2021 and here's is 2024, but you have to have, that's a little lag time in order for the research to be done and then the numbers to be shared. So that happens right there too. Again, I know there's an organization that I belong to, and one of the things it talks about is food insecurities. And that's one of the things that we work on and we give back to the community, is making sure that we give food to the less fortunate, socioeconomic, the unemployed, and many times it could be someone that's homeless. So if you have, if you're not volunteering and you have time to volunteer, I mean, just give a little bit of your time. It might not be, you can't do 4 or 5 days out of the month, but you might be able to do 3 hours out of a month. And you can split it up different, days, different weeks, and then you can still be able to do that. So that's something that we can do to help each other. The next thing would be the digital divide remains a gender one, with the 37% of women globally not using the internet, which means about 259 million fewer women have access to the internet than men. Now, the cause of that, I am not sure at this point. I didn't read any further on that, but that still is alarming. And it could be that maybe, we can have some refurbished computers, or maybe they don't have access to computers that, we have to be able to get the computers cleaned, the drive cleaned, and then given to them, or even teach them how to use it. Maybe they don't even know how to use it. So there's things that we can do. And I know there's a lot of nonprofits out here that's doing things like that. So we just need to pull together and find out who does what so that we can refer individuals to some of these nonprofits and some of these other individuals who are teaching women how to use computers. It's just a matter of us using our resources and stretching our resources and helping one another. So this is I know it's a lot of information that I'm sharing, but with this being International Women's Month, I want to make sure that the first meeting of this month was talking about a lot of these insecurities and a lot of these gaps and a lot of the things in which we can do. I'm going to be, like I said, sharing with you women that are out here helping other women, helping other people, helping young adults and women and girls, and therefore they're giving back. And as I introduce them to you, then you have a resource that you can call upon, or you have a resource that you can refer people to. And so this is my way of being able to give back to the world and be able to help with the platform in which I have been given an opportunity to do. And Pod TV has been so generous. And remember, I said to you that they are in over 200 countries this information airs to. So let's go on further and talk about women in the world of work. And not only is the gender differences in the law affects both developing and developed economics, women in all regions, but globally, did you know that there was over 2.7 billion women are legally restricted from having the same choices of jobs as men? The same choices of jobs as men. So, of the 190 economics assessed in 2023, more than one third, we're talking about 69 uh, economics, have less constraining women decisions to work and have no laws on sexual harassment in the workplace. That's a mouthful in itself. That disparity is there, both developing and developed economics. So, when it comes to women in the world of work, again, we have to help one another. We have to pull together. We have to collaborate. These are some of the things that we can do. We're talking about International Women's Month. Now is the time to start correlating, collaborating, coming together, understanding what we can do to help each other. And we, just because some of us are working, you're not non-exempt, because we could find ourselves in a position tomorrow that we would not even realize that we could be in. So I heard someone say one time before, those that you pass going up are the same ones you can pass coming down. So therefore, I like to make sure that what we do, we put something in place so we can help as many people as we possibly can, when we can, and while we can. So that's something to think about. And then there is women are overrepresented in informal and vulnerable employment. It talks about that nearly 60% of women employment globally is in the informal economic status, low income countries. And it's more than 90%, according to the latest research from 2018. But again, this lagging research has to catch up, because you have surveys and you have um, statistics that you have to work with and just compile them and then aggregate it and then come up with what are the findings. So this is some of the stuff that I wanted to bring up when it comes to women, and here we are in the International Month. But also, let's think about the paid and unpaid workers, because we have a lot of people who volunteer their services who find themselves in the unpaid situation. It's no different. When you're unpaid, you could be still essential function to the economy, but you're not getting paid. And so sometimes you lose hope, sometimes you lose faith, and sometimes you just no longer want to do it. But just know that your skills are needed. They are needed. And if there is a way to get paid, then let's see what we can do to help you. If it's a resume that you need, then you need to attend my resume workshop. If it's mentoring that you need, then you have to reach out and let someone know that you need the mentoring. I was told one time before, no one is going to know that you need help if you don't let them know you need help. And if you always say every time when someone asks you, how are you doing? And you said, oh, I'm fine. So what do you think that they're going to think? They are going to think that you're actually fine. But really, you're not. So let's be honest. When we need help, let's ask for help. But I do understand you have to ask the right person. I do understand you have to go to the right agency. I do understand that you have to have, um, be able to have hope that whomever you're talking to will respect the confidentiality and not share with anyone. So I do understand that. But at least if there is something that you can ask for help that's not revealing all of your personal information, then ask for help. Okay, so what about women constitute the majority of paid care workers? We're talking about health workers, education, and then it falls into sometimes the paid domestic work. This is where we find a lot of the unskilled and might fall into that domestic work. But you got the health care, you have the education, and sometimes those education individuals are educating our children. They are touching our leaders for tomorrow. So we have to make sure that we're collaborating and helping them as well. I read that an estimate of 80% of domestic workers worldwide are women, with 90% not having access to social security and more than half with no limits on their weekly working hours. No limits on their weekly working hours, which mean that no limits is how long are they out of the household when they're not there for their families. So that's something to take into consideration. I received a telephone call earlier today. It was telling me about that there are women who just to get together, networking, and help one another. And they talk about how can you help each other, And so here I am in North Carolina, but in the United States, they're all over the United States and they're all over the world. So this information is just not locally here to North Carolina. This information is international, and that's why I'm bringing it up tonight. Is because we don't need to think just local, but we need to think local and global at the same time. Because it could be someone local who needs something global that we can connect them with, or someone global who needs to know someone local so they can collaborate. It's a lot of that needs to happen. I know there's a young lady that I know by Kimberly Winborn, and one of the things that she prides herself in is collaboration. She's a collaboration queen. She believes in getting people together, collaborate, and then let's just disperse it. Let's make it happen. Let's make sure that we're developing individuals. And she holds nothing back when it comes to that. Her heart is there, and she want to make sure that you get the information that you need in order to move forward so that you can have and you can live the best life and you can help your family and take it back and transform generations is what Levelers is all about. How do we transform generations so that they can be better each generation or get better each time that they're learning something new and they implement it? Also, it talks about that 70 to 90% of jobs created by investing in care infrastructure will benefit women. 70 to 90% if they only invest in infrastructure, the care infrastructure is going to benefit women. We're nurturers. Let's face it. We're nurturers. It's just a normal part of us. Many of us are. And then it's okay if that's not your makeup. You are who you are and be who you are. Be authentic to whom you are. Don't try to be someone that you are not. You were born an original and you're not born a copy. So just stay the original and be authentic to yourself. And studies show that investment in the care sector would create almost 3 times as many jobs as the same investment in construction. and produce 30% less greenhouse gas emissions. So it's just a matter, and not only that, women are innovative, they're creative. They can come up with some of these infrastructures. I know I love being doing construction when I was younger as well. I love to sew and with colors as also, but I love tinkering with wood and putting things together and building things as well. And so you just never know how you can use that imagination when you, again, look at your abilities and your strengths and align them with the chosen profession that you're going to be doing. So always think of it like that. Let's see if we have any questions. I don't know if we have any questions. Let me take a peep and see if we have any questions. I'm not seeing any questions. Let's see. Okay. All right. One question came in. It says, "So when is the workshop scheduled?" The banner, the Bitly link is running on the banner and is scheduled for March the 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. It will be 1 hour and it will not be recorded. It's going to be the 20 do's and don'ts, the quick tips that you can update your resume, and it will make a significant improvement in your resume and how it's going to be laid out and how it's going to look to a hiring manager. Because let's face it, so many times when you submit a resume for an application, it could very well go through what we call the applicant tracking system. And do you know the do's and don'ts of that applicant tracking system so that your resume is not kicked out, going into the do not disturb pile, but instead is going to look at me, look at my resume. I have what it takes. I met the requirements, I can do all the things that you're asking to do. So, but you have to stand out because you don't know how many people put in for the resume. I mean, for the actual application. I never will forget. I Sometimes I do test applications and I'll put in for them just to see, am I going to get a response? How many people put in for it? And I do remember this one job I had put in for, and there were like 5,000 applicants for that one job. 5,000. So I didn't get called. I just want you to know I did not get a call to come in and interview. But you just never know how many people are going to put in for the application for the job opening. But it wasn't that I wasn't ready. It wasn't that I didn't have my resume ready. It's just that you never know what the final decision was that they were looking at when it came to the roles and responsibilities and how well that mine match up to the one that they chose to bring in for the interview. So that gives you some information. Are there any other questions out here? Okay. All right. So what if you, all right. So the question says, what if you are in a position? Oh, who is the work? Okay. Who is the workshop for? Okay. The workshop that I'm talking about when it comes to on March the 12th is for adults, and it's for those who are unemployed, underemployed, those who are ready to make a transition move. You need to keep your resume up to date. So don't go on and register. I mean, an hour of your time in order to get your resume ready, and bring your resume with you because, like I said, it's an interactive workshop. There's not a workshop that I really do that's not interactive because I believe in you having hands-on experience and you making the necessary changes while you're there. I've been in so many different workshops where I get theory, and I'm not able to apply it while I'm there. And then I got to try to remember what I'm supposed to do when I go home. And so this way, I want you to do it while you're in the workshop. And so bring your resume with you. If it's a hard copy, you can write on it and you can make the changes then, that's fine. If you are on a digital copy and you're able to make the changes there as we're talking, that's fine. But the most important thing is be ready to interact and become a part of the workshop. What you put in is what you're going to get out. I mean, and that's a true statement. When no matter what it is that you're doing, when you do the work, then the work will work for you. And I like to say, love what you do and do what you love. And so we get that resume together and we're able to submit it with an application. And the hiring manager, it loves it. They like what you're saying. It's obvious that you're the one. Then they call you for the interview and it all works out. So at the end of the day, the whole objective is what? To get you in front of the hiring manager so that you can have an opportunity to market yourself. So just know that your resume is a branding magnet for you. And the way that you brand yourself is to make sure that you have your resume representing who you are, what you've done, and the value that you're going to bring to the organization. So women, this is an opportunity for you to make sure that that resume stands out and is accurate. It has that necessary information on it. And this is the reason why I'm offering this is because it's called Emergency Resume Workshop. And the emergency came about when individuals are contacting me saying, hey, I don't want to wait to April for the other 2-hour workshop. I need something right now. What do you have right now? And so the emergency workshop came about. And let's say, let me give them the 20 do's and don'ts that would help them to get that resume snappy, ready, quickly, and they can apply for a job because it's still going to have some valuable information on it. Let's see if we have another one. We're getting closer to time, but let's see if we have another question. All right. Let's see. Mark asked about the inequality when it comes to pay, but then he also, there's another flip side to this about financing for the gender equity. And that financing is many times women don't have access to equity like men have access to capital. And so therefore we have to look at how do we get women updated on the financial side of making sure that they have what they need, especially if they're a small business owner or if you're an entrepreneur. How do you have access to capital? And do you know how much capital you need and what are you going to use it for? So when you do have an opportunity and you have to fill out an application and you submit the information, is it submitted to the best of your ability? Is it going to cover what you needed to cover? And can you repay what they're asking you to pay in a timely manner? So we have to look at that equity, equality as well. And many times women, let's face it, we already know that there is a disparity right there as well. But let's get educated on it. There's some investment groups that we can attend, and they have some free webinars and seminars that we can attend. It talks about financing. It talks about access to capital. And so you have the Small Business Association that you can go to. You have SCORE that you can go to. And then you have the North Carolina Institute that you can go to. And I'm sure you have it in some of the other states. So look at that. Look at what you have. Look at your chamber, see what they offer. Look at your community colleges and see what they offer when it comes to the small business administration and some of their workshops. And many of these workshops are free. You do not have to pay for them out of pocket. You're paying for them through the use of your time. I mean, I attended several of them when I first started in business, and I still attend them. I still attend many of the SCORE workshops. SCORE have some, absolutely phenomenal workshops. SCORE, all capital letters. Look for it in your local state and and they even have mentors, and they will mentor you. I remember when I first started out, I had a SCORE mentor, and they were helping me to develop my business plan. And so there's so many different opportunities out here, women, that's out here for us, but we also have to look for them. And then us women who know about them, let's share with other women. And then once you hear about it, ladies, turn around and share it with someone else. Pay it forward so that we can continue to lift one another. As I'm getting ready to close, I want to remind you I look forward to seeing you in the March 12th workshop via Zoom. And the link is here. It is bit.ly /emergency resume. And it's going to be on March the 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. And so that's the first thing. The next thing I want to remind you of is be looking on the lookout for these women that I'm going to be showcasing during this month of March that's giving back, that's living their legacy. It's called Leveless Living. And these women are living their legacy, and they are internationally. They're helping each other. They're giving back. They're paying it forward. They're serving as a mentor. They're teaching. There's so many different things that these women are doing. And just know that we're all here to help each other. But we don't know you need help if you don't ask. So just let us know. You can always reach out to me at Leveless Co, www.levelessco.com is the website, and Maxine at levelessco.com is my email. So if there's someone that you need connected with, let me know. And if I know them, I definitely connect you. If I don't, then someone I know probably knows. We used to be 6 degrees of separation, but we're no longer 6 degrees. We're only, a click away in the internet. So we have access to digital at our fingertips. So there's no reason for us not to use it. I have enjoyed being here tonight and talking about this International Women's Month. I know that it's going to be phenomenal. We're going to see all kind of women that's going to be highlighted. All type of features is going to be highlighted. And let's not forget about our young women as well, our youth, our girls. Let's continue to encourage them and bring them forward and showcase them and mentor them and let them know that they are special and they are someone and they have gifts and talents that the world needs. Let's build their confidence up along the way as well. We have our college women, and our college I call them, first of all, our young adults who are in college. And I know we have women who are working that's going to college. But let's talk about the young adults in college. As they're navigating through college, they also need mentoring. They need a helping hand. They need a coach. And I do career coaching for our college students. I never will forget one of my college students were getting ready to graduate. She was undergrad when I first started working with her, and she took an assessment that helps her to identify or confirm that she was in the right degree plan. And then she went on for her master's. So as she was completing her master's, we got her ready to get employed. And so after she had that, I think it was probably about a month before she was due to graduate, then she started interviewing. And she, out of 400 applicants for this one particular job, she was the chosen candidate for the position. So, not only was I proud, but yes, she was happy about it too. So she's gone on and done great, great, great things. And so I'm so, so pleased with her accomplishments. As with all of my clients that I work with, it's all about, where do you see yourself going? Let us come along with the journey with you. Let us walk beside you. And let us guide you as you implement the strategies that you put in place. So this is Maxine Phillips. I'm the CEO and founder of Leveless Coaching and Career and Consulting. Listen, I love what I do, and I do what I love. I look forward to meeting you back here next week at the same time, at the same place. Only we'll have a guest with us next week to talk about the life strategies that they put in place and what they're doing with it. So in the meantime, as I always end my show with, I believe in you and I trust you believe in yourself. So good night. Have a great one.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.